What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Cheeseboys NFL podcast. I'm TJ. That's Sam. And as you can see, he's a cheesehead. I'm a boys fan. That's why we're the Cheeseboys. And Sam, you want to tell me how you're feeling after week one in Cheeseland over there in Packersville?
Not really, to be honest. I'm not feeling great. It definitely could have been a better week one. Uh it's hard to say as a Packers fan ever after losing to Vikings week one. Especially, in the way we did. It definitely wasn't a good game for us. That you feel good, but it's week one. I'm not worried about it. Last year we got beat 38-3. This year was 23-7. So it's better. It's a better start than last year. And last year we still finished 13-4. So I'm not worried.
Mhm.
But yeah, it definitely a rough start. I think with such a young squad, it'll take a little bit longer to get going, but it is what it is. How you feeling after that Cowboys game, buddy?
That's what I was about to say is the one thing is I will tell you it can always get worse. It can always get worse, buddy. Yeah, no, just when things go bad, they just always go worse for the Cowboys. I mean, Stephen A. Smith has some saying something like that, like when things go wrong or when things go bad, they go bad. I don't know. When the Cowboys are gonna Cowboys, I mean, you can't help injuries, but it's just like such just a tragic game leading up to even the injury, like just horrible on offense and just after the whole off season, like it hurt to see. But let's break down some of these games. Let's get excited about some of the stuff because I mean that's all we had to do this weekend. Me and Sam were on some calls. We were watching some multiple games. We were red zone and we were zoning it up. So we
There was
we
some good games. There was some good
yeah.
games this week.
No, and we watched like a pretty good chunk of most of the games here, and we'll let
Yeah.
you know if we didn't watch as much, but I'm pretty sure we caught at least parts of every single game. So we'll
Between the
get
two of
into it.
us, I think one of us caught a part of every single game. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right. You want to start us off with your reaction to that Bills game?
Yeah, I mean, my first reaction would be honestly, it caught me a little off guard. I don't know if it was how good the Bills looked or just that the Rams were honestly looking a step slow. But yeah, the main thing I would say is it really caught me off guard. I was expecting a much closer game. I didn't expect it to be a 31-10. Like it was just a bit of a blowout. A lot of turnovers, which for week one isn't super shocking. That's kind of normal sloppy football a lot of the time. People are still cold, nobody's warmed up yet, so that makes sense. But turnovers on both sides of the board. But yeah, it was just all around kind of a sloppy game. It didn't really look like overall the Rams, like Leonard Floyd and Allen Robinson, like they're two kind of new crucial pieces. Didn't really look like they stepped up much. Obviously Donald looked really good whenever he had single teams, but or a single team on the online. But Josh Allen was like the whole scheme of getting the ball out of Josh Allen's hands really quick whenever Donald was going to be one on one was like they played it so well. So yeah, overall I think Bills looked really good. Rams just I think it could just take them a little bit kind of just to get the new pieces going. But yeah, I would say just my first reaction was Bills look really good. Rams were a step slower. How do you feel?
And I kind of agree, like with everything you say. I will say Matt Stafford, maybe he is hurt. Like I don't know. He did look like a just a he didn't have the same zip on the ball. Like I don't know if that's just me being like an over analysis, kind of like I was looking at it too way too much. But him and Cooper Cup are still electric. Like
Dominant.
it
Yeah.
like there's nothing you can do. But like you said, like even the scheme, it's kind of just like for Sean McVay to have this new toy and Allen Robinson and not show it off like he kind of normally tends to. Like when they get a Deshaun Jackson or they get a OBJ, like kind of show off the new toy. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a little surprising. And Donald had a big sack early, and then just kind of the O line looks really good for the Bills. Gabe Davis is that dude, and Diggs is the number one. Like that's a nasty 1-2 punch they
Oh,
got now, and like they. The question that I had, like, kind of like going into the game and kind of throughout the game was who's the running back, and Singletary took it that game, so we'll see where it goes from there. But I agree, just for them to have the turnovers and then to still win by like 21 points, it was an impressive showing by the Bills, and it kind
yeah.
of like you kind of felt like they were almost going to be set up for failure with how hyped they were getting. Josh Allen MVP, like the Bills are just locks to make it to the Super Bowl this year. They got cheated last year by a coin flip. Like they shut it all down and they said, yeah, we just beat the champs by 21, like in their stadium.
The other thing I was going to say just quickly before we move on to the next game, just one point I want to say is Cam Akers. What the fuck?
Right? Fantasy
What the
owners are
fuck?
chance. Like I don't have Cam Akers. Do you have Cam Akers in any of your
I
leagues?
have a Cam Akers in one of my leagues. Yeah.
Ooh,
I didn't have him starting this week,
mhm.
thankfully, but I was like, what the fuck?
Like it's weird that he would play in the playoffs and then have all this time off. And I don't did he get another surgery? Like I'd never heard anything like that. I don't know.
I don't follow Rams close enough to really know,
Yeah.
but there was the one play where he just totally missed the block, just like and then 3 touches for whatever it was. I think 0 yards, something like
0 yards,
that.
bro. Literally zero yards.
It was bad.
And then Henderson had 47 yards on 13 attempts. Like it's just like they could have used the running
Yeah,
attack in that game.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens with him. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but I guess we'll see looking forward. So I'll like transition us here to this next game. What about this Eagles and Lions game? What were your thoughts on that one?
My favorite 1 o'clock game. That was my favorite 1 o'clock game to have on the entire time. It was a really fun game to I mean, even as a Packers fan, there were points that I wanted the Lions to win. Like it was fun to watch. It was just fun to watch, like, a good performance. Detroit had to put in like a bit of a comeback towards the end. Like all around, it was just a fun game to watch. Swift, what a fucking game. Like, geez, that was crazy. Obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think just overall, like I think the Lions looked better than people were probably expecting. Eagles are a really good team, and I think to have a 38-35 game, like it was close, it was tight, and it was fun to watch the whole time.
It really was like I don't know what happened to the defenses and in particular the run defenses, but even towards the end, like Jared Goff started to let it rip. Like early in the
Mhm.
game, Goff was struggling, but
Yep.
towards the end, like he ended with 202 touchdowns and a pick, and then Swift 144.
Yep.
Yep, St. Brown, Chark, like they all played well, and then but yeah, like the Eagles I was more so just shocked at how bad the Eagles run defense was. Like
Was
I thought
yeah.
you got Jordan Davis, like, but I know that I know someone on their D line is out for the season. I saw that. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah, I was pretty sure I saw that. So I don't know if that happened early in the game and that affected like the rest of the game, like how they were run defending. But Jalen Hurts 243 yards and 90 rushing yards. That's pretty nice. So
Yeah.
if he can keep doing that, then they're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Eagles look good. Like Eagles definitely look good. Defense didn't look that great, but yeah, really the main thing that caught me on that game was just how solid the lines looked, especially late in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goff really was letting it rip a little more later in the game. It was good.
I will just add that like the Lions defense too, although they did get shredded, if you saw, like they were gang tackling, like they had some dog in them. So
Yeah,
you gotta at least give them credit there.
yeah.
So the next game that I'll take us to, and I'll start us off with this one, is the Colts game. Texans were up 20-3. It looked like Dougie Davis Mills was gonna get the dub here. And then Matt Ryan just he put on a comeback hat, a rally cap, and he got them back in the game. They tied it up, got it to overtime, and then just nobody could get it in position in overtime to get it done. Like it was kind of like back and forth in overtime where guys were fighting in that neutral zone, like where
Yeah.
they just couldn't get into where it's like worth going for it on fourth down versus punting, blah 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 blah. So, but overall, like it was a good game to see, a good rally. I know that the Colts kicker, I believe, missed the kicker too in the game, and I believe he got released.
He
Blankenship.
did. Blankenship did, yeah. Well, there was he as well as the missed kick. He also kicked 2 kickoffs out of bounds.
Did he? I did not see
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah,
missed
he
that.
kicked 2 out of bounds apparently, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Damn. So, I mean, Cowboys got Mocker. I mean, but anyway, yeah, overall that was a pretty good game. Like Jonathan Taylor 161. Like it's like he just picked up where he left off, and all the people who were like doubting that he was gonna have another season like that. Well, there you go. He kind of shut that down. Matt Ryan with 350 still couldn't get the win. Davis Mills looked really good in his second season, first game versus a really good defense. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts kind of?
I was gonna say honestly, yeah, I think you touched on most of the points I had watching that game. Yeah, I didn't watch too much of it at the beginning. Originally I thought it kind of looked like a Texans might take this one away, and then started watching a little more as the Colts were coming back in an overtime before the Packers game started. But yeah, honestly, the most concerning thing to me, and I saw it a couple times during the game late, and now I'm looking at it here, is like Matt Ryan had to throw the ball 50 times, and Jonathan Taylor still had to run it 31.
Like even in an overtime game, how do you not
That's
win that?
81 throws and runs between the two of them, which is just absurd. That's like there's so many plays run, and obviously like an extended game because they had to go into overtime. They had I think two, maybe three possessions in overtime after like missed kicks and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's just to me that's a little concerning. I would like to see Indianapolis play a bit more possession ball and be able to get some
Mm-hmm.
drives together, especially against a team like Houston. So hopefully that's something they can put together because I think that's something they're going to rely on later in the season, especially with a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Like you don't want him taking 31 rushes attempts, especially when you have an older quarterback and Matt Ryan throwing the balls 50 times in a game. You just don't like to see that.
No. Like if he's rushing it 31 times, you can't be throwing it 50 and
No,
not winning this game.
no, like that's brutal.
Before we move on, Michael Pittman, wide receiver one.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you like him as their number one? Do you think he can be a number one for their
I mean,
team?
I think there was a lot of talk about obviously him taking a big step up this offseason. I think he came out this week and I showed it. Like I think,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think
He's
he played
Matt Ryan always seems to pick a guy.
yeah. Well, I think Pittman is I think who people assume to be that guy, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he was right around 150ish yards, one touchdown. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, I think he played a great game. I would not be surprised to see him put up consistent, really good numbers, especially with Matt Ryan at quarterback.
Mhm. For sure, for sure. All right, you can lead us off because both of us had a pretty close eye. We were both kind of pretty intrigued with the semantics leading up to this game with Baker versus his old team. So run me down Carolina versus the Browns.
All right, so Carolina versus the Browns. So yeah, it was honestly for me like it was a little underwhelming. Neither of the quarterbacks played great, which not super surprising. Like it's really good defenses. CMC was one big thing that I was like Browns did a really good job of shutting him down. He didn't
Yeah.
get the ball much. They weren't running it a lot. But he yeah, like as a CMC fantasy owner this week, he had the one touchdown, but he wasn't getting a whole lot of rushing yards.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was the one big thing I was gonna say is Browns definitely like did a good job of shutting CMC
Mhm.
down and obviously came in with the win. It was really fun watching Baker that last drive go for the touchdown before Browns came back and stole it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a fun overall game to watch. It
Mhm.
was yeah, I thought Jacoby played decent. You know, not great, not terrible, but the Browns just kind of got to hope they can rally some of these games together. They're going to be tight all the way through, probably the next 9 games with a guy like Jacoby, especially against decent teams. Like I think Carolina is probably a better team than people give them credit for. So yeah, I think overall, like fairly good game. Yeah, hard to see. Like it's tough to really tell. I'd like to be able to get Jacoby and Baker in another game, both against a bit of a weaker defense, just because it really was just a strong defensive game all around.
Yeah, you could feel Baker at the end of the game really like take over. He had that drive and he wanted the win, but then Jacoby's just kind of like you said, it seems like he's just kind of like slow and steady, like and versus a tough defense, he can get you in a position to win a game. So
Mm,
that's all you ask for him. I mean, early on, like you said, it was kind of got going slow, but in the end, it was interesting to watch. And yeah, the final drive where Jacoby set him up and they got it done was cool to see. I mean, Jacoby can keep them afloat till
I was gonna say,
Deshaun gets there.
don't get me wrong, Jacoby, super solid quarterback, like nothing against him. Like I think he's good enough to potentially be a starter in the league or a very top backup. But yeah, it's just yeah, he's especially against a stronger defense. Just he didn't play great, but yeah, especially with that last drive being able to pull it out. It was good to see.
Mhm.
All right, where do you want to take us next, buddy?
I think I want to go to the this will probably arguably the biggest upset of the week, maybe.
I think I already
Niners
know where you're
Bears.
going. Yeah.
Okay, so
I would
you
say
wanna say what you think?
yeah, like it was obviously tough game, tough conditions. Like it
Mhm.
was pouring down Chicago. I'm not sure if you saw at the very end of the game after Chicago secured the win, they were like slip and sliding in their
Yeah.
own ends. Yeah,
Mhm.
so like obviously games like that, it's always going to be
Mhm.
tougher. I think the one big thing I would say, and obviously it's tough, like it really is because with the conditions, like betray, underwhelming,
Mm.
super underwhelming. Like it's just like obviously Elijah Mitchell goes down, like that's a big loss, but like Trey needs to play better than that. And I think if anything, that really proved why re-signing Jimmy was a great call. Like Chicago, don't get me wrong, they have a decent defense. Like the one pick, I don't think it was a terrible interception. Like that's what Eddie Jackson does. Like he's a ball hawk. Like it happens, especially against young quarterbacks. Like but yeah, overall, just it was not a great game for him. Like he's got to step it up, especially with, like they have pieces in the offense. Like there's not really excuses to not be having like there's not really an excuse to have a game that poor continuously. So obviously it's one game, he's a rookie quarterback, it happens, but you can't continuously have games like that. Like you got to take a step up.
They were bad conditions, but he also made a couple bad decisions on
Yeah.
an interception and just some throws overall.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just didn't get it done. And give credit to Justin Fields because
Yeah.
Justin Fields did get it done in those conditions. He threw the touchdown to Equanimous St. Brown. And I don't know if you
Yep.
knew this, but St. Brown and St. Brown,
Yep.
the brothers, they
Yep.
scored within I think like 5 minutes of each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So St. Brown on the line scored first, and then St. Brown on the Bears scored second, like
Equanimous
five
St.
minutes
Brown,
apart.
the
The
ex
family,
Green Bay Packer.
that family on Red Zone, just losing their mind. This is the greatest day.
Getting too
No,
hype
but
at home.
no, for real, that's pretty sick. But yeah, I watched a lot of that game. My dad is he's a Niners fan, and yeah, they're in a lot of question marks because the whole point of the Niners offense, and I've watched like a lot of them, is they have the running back stable. Well, it looks like this Elijah Mitchell guy isn't like everybody else. Like you actually got a guy here, and when he goes down, it doesn't look the same. So if you don't have Elijah Mitchell, that really hinders Debo. That hinders what you can do with Trey Lance running the ball. Like, so I'm kind of questioning what's going on because if Elijah Mitchell, I'm not really sure how long it is. I'm pretty sure he's not season ending, but I believe it's a
No,
couple
it's
weeks.
yeah. I wanted to say I have in one of my fantasy leagues. I want to say it's 8.
Yeah, like
I I think
that's
is
worse
what
than
it
I thought. So
was.
it's gonna be questionable, but they always do scheme up a running game. So I'll believe in Kyle Shanahan at this
8
point.
weeks. 8 weeks for
But
Elijah Mitchell.
yeah, a 19-10 loss is that's very uninspiring.
Yeah, and the other thing I just wanted to quickly touch on is another point is yeah, Fields also didn't look super hot,
Mhm.
which not surprising
Mhm.
against that good of a defense. The
Also
other
the
thing
conditions though.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it's just overall it's a tough game to really get too much of a judgment, but
Mm.
you just like to see it. A
Yeah.
whole lot of guys in that game take
Yeah. And
play better games.
yeah, but like all credit to the Bears for getting it
Yeah.
done.
Oh yeah.
Like they got it done. Like
Yep.
as rough and
Bears defense
as
look good.
bad as it was, they did it. So
I think Bears defense look a lot better than
mm.
people were expecting them to look in this game.
So this next one here that I'll take you to is a 28-22 win for the Washington Commanders over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, I had it on a
This was
couple
probably
times.
the ones that I feel like we watched the least, but at the
Yeah,
end we were
we at
watching.
the end. Yeah, I was gonna say we definitely watched the end. Yeah, overall, like in the pieces that I did watch, it was kind of it seemed like a decent game.
Mhm.
Yeah, the ending though was extremely fun. I know Jahan Dotson had a really good game. I think two
Mhm.
touchdowns.
Two
I think
tutties, 4 touchdowns for Wentz.
yeah, I was gonna say I know Scary Terry had one, a deep one down the sideline.
Mhm.
Yeah, Wentz looked like Wentz. Don't get me wrong, like
Wentz looked like Wentz. He had 4 touchdowns and 2 picks.
picks, but
He's Wentz in it.
the other thing that scares me is 4 touchdowns, 2 picks against the Jags is
That's mm.
it's definitely not overwhelming. I don't think it's underwhelming. He still played a good game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, picks, especially in the
Mhm.
first week, aren't uncommon. So
He
yeah,
also
but
seemed to throw the ball a lot. Like it seems
yeah,
like, which I know I just off watching like different content about the Colts is that people were like upset that Carson would apparently like he'd check out of runs like all the time. It's like, is he doing that to Antonio Gibson? I don't know if that's conspiracy, like, just fodder talk, but
yeah,
that's something that might be something. But yeah, I mean, I just what I remember watching was when the Commanders scored their last touchdown, and then at some point T Law had a drive where he could do it, and we were watching, and then he just threw one that it was just like, oh,
yeah.
there you
That
go.
last ball was
It was just like, what was that after all this? Like,
yeah.
but yeah, I
The other
mean,
thing was it was on third down, if I'm not mistaken. Like he didn't
mhm,
even. It was just rushed. Like there was. It just felt like a
mhm.
young rookie or not
Yeah,
rookie. I guess second year, but
yeah,
like
second
a
year.
young player mistake.
But I feel like I was talking to you about which rookie's going to take the next step up from that last class, like which sophomore player. And you said Trev, and
T-Law.
I was like, oh, yeah, I think I agree. And then right after that, he threw the pick, and we were
Yeah.
like, well, maybe Trey Lance, maybe Justin Fields, maybe Zach Wilson.
I will say we did preface by both saying we couldn't say Davis Dougie Mills because we both know
Yeah,
each other would have
no.
said that because that
Well,
would have been my pick.
we did say that we can't say Mac or Dougie Mills
Yeah,
because they've already taken their step forward. If they take
correct.
another step forward, it's not as big a step as those other guys will
Yeah,
take.
I agree. No, I'm with
But
you.
so yeah, that game, I mean, yeah, there was some fireworks, definitely, like
Mm,
some big plays, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Christian
overall
Kirk had
it
a
was
big
just
touchdown.
overall it was kind of just like, yeah, we don't really know how much you can judge like how good or bad either team is because we don't really know. Like compare that to some other defenses, some other offenses within the league, it might not stack up as hot, it might be worse, it could be better. So
Yeah.
now I'll move on to a pretty big, not blowout, I guess, but a 20-7 game that never really felt close is
No,
the Dolphins and the Patriots.
I was gonna say this to me for me this with the Jags Commanders game. This is probably the other game I had on the least.
Mhm,
Yeah, just overall another pretty like underwhelming. Just kind of felt like Dolphins really did have
mhm,
control of the game for most of the time. Obviously, they didn't really. The offense wasn't really as productive in the second half. Like I think they went into the second half with a 17-0 lead and just like patted off with a third goal or a field goal in the third. So yeah, but it was like I would say for me, like I thought Tua played like a pretty good game, like consistent all around, had a really good
I'd
game.
agree.
The one touchdown to Waddle, just shy of 300 yards. Yeah, so I think especially against the Patriots defense, like I think you never know what to expect with the Patriots
Mhm,
defense. With Belichick, like they're always good. Like not what you never know what to expect in a bad way. I mean in a good way. Like
mhm.
it's no matter who is on that team. If Belichick's the coach, I think their defense can always be scary in any game. So yeah, I think it was overall it was a good game. I think for Tua, it was a good game for the Dolphins. Tyreek had a couple really big catches. That one like Moss one hander. I'm not sure if you saw
Oh,
that. That was
yeah,
a sick catch. So yeah, I think overall good game for the Dolphins. I think that's a really good start to the season. You can't really ask for much more, especially against a
no.
divisional opponent.
Hmm. I was just gonna say that I had this game on like a decent bit. I threw it on every now and again, and every time I did, I was like, oh, like Tyreek's just making plays. Like even if Tua, just kind of puts it in the area, he goes and gets it and he makes something happen after the catch. he's so talented, man.
Yeah.
And then Waddle breaks that one, and
Touchdown off,
everybody's doing that Waddle celebration. I was geeking all
Yeah.
these. I saw a tweet, or I heard another podcast that I was listening to where they were like, a bunch of 40-year-old men doing a Waddle dance in end zone is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. All these 40-year-old men are just waddling in the end zone, bro. It's geeking. But yeah, that was just it. Like I said, like I had it on a good bit. My brother's a Patriots fan. Like I was just kind of flipping on to check in on it, but it just felt like the Patriots couldn't get anything going. Matt Patricia on offense might be a big question mark, and it might not work, and they might need to figure something out. I'm not sure what you do from there, but yeah, Mac Jones. I mean, I don't even blame Mac Jones because, like I said, I just felt like the play calling seemed like it wasn't really like they weren't taking any risks. They weren't like they're down in the game, and it didn't feel like they were doing anything about it in a way. Like I know that's kind of like really broad to say, but without showing you the plays, it just kind of felt like they they really like were conservative at times when they didn't need to be. You know what I mean?
Mike McCarthy football.
Oh
That's what they were
God.
playing.
Yeah, they're not playing Kellen Moore football, clearly.
Clearly.
Well, so yeah, that was the 20-7 win of the Dolphins over the Patriots. So now I'll take you to the division AFC North rivalry. A huge OT win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 23-10.
Massive. Big kick by Boswell as well.
And I mean, I'll just start us off there, bro. The kicking. It was so the long snapper for the Bengals went out in the middle of this game.
Yeah.
So the two kicks at the end for Cincinnati, one was slow and one was a bad snap, and they missed two kicks in to end the game. It gets blocked by Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Who had an amazing game with the interception, pick six.
Well, also the penalty
overall,
right at the end. The penalty into an forced incompletion into a blocked kick. Like he took over the game right after getting that penalty. It was great to see.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So Minka Fitzpatrick is a certified dog. We know he's a dog. So dog. So and then it was just, Boswell hits that big kick after missing one himself, like bonking it off the crossbar. Like it was just back and forth, misses. And they came out with the dub, which is just huge. And it just kind of makes you think like, this is something that we can get into like further in a video and maybe a like down the line predictions video, like looking ahead at the season. But what if all those like AFC West teams really are that good? And like losing like this for Cincinnati, like what if Cincinnati could miss the playoffs this year? Yeah. There's a world where it happens, which is just like, it's crazy if the defending champs defending AFC champs did not make the playoffs again. But when you lose games like this that are dogfights, and it could be huge. But
the other thing is, it's not like Burrow looked amazing. Like he had what, 4 picks, 5 picks, 4 picks.
4 picks and a fumble, I believe. 5 turnovers.
Yeah, 4 picks and a fumble. That's what it was. 4 picks and a fumble, 5 turnovers. So it's not like he looked great. And obviously, like we have like mentioned a couple times, first week football, always more turnovers. But
the O-line was atrocious still. They got 4 guys. They added 4 guys to the O-line, and it still was bad. It's just like the same old. I don't understand.
Oh, by the way, just real quick, TJ Watt, no surgery, only 6 weeks. Thank God.
Really?
Thank God. No surgery, only 6 weeks. Yeah, it's massive, dude. It's huge for them.
Yeah. Huge. Like people were saying like end of the season, like maybe he'll be back for playoffs.
No surgery, 6
dude,
weeks.
These Watts are insane. Because like JJ has insane recovery time too.
Yeah.
Built different.
Yeah.
But
I would say, we touched like I think we touched on most, but like overall, it kind of just like a really good game for Pittsburgh's defense, and kind
really
of
good game for Mitch Trubisky, bro.
Yeah,
like I mean, he got it done.
Yeah,
like we said, much more. Like we said before, he got it done. Like here, we can just quickly look at the stats. Like he had 200, like 194, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and like. Bro, they had 23 yards from Najee Harris running the ball, 36 from Chase Claypool. Like, they really had to dog this one out by their defense and by just kind of like
Special
putting them
teams.
putting them in position to hit
Yeah.
kicks, and Mitch Trubisky got them to do it against a pretty solid defense that just didn't play that well.
I think Pittsburgh went out and of all teams kind of probably in the first week really proved the football that they're going to play this season and that they can do it. Like they're going to play really hard defense and they're going to force your quarterbacks to throw picks if you don't have a great O-line. And then yeah, they're going to they're going to dogfight the whole way. Like that's
how's that going to go without TJ Watt? We'll see, I guess.
It'll be tough for the next 6 weeks. It'll definitely be tough for the next weeks.
Maybe they switch up how they play defense, or how they take more shots on offense to account for.
Could be.
Who knows? But so I'll give you the lead on this one. You can quickly give me your Ravens Jets.
Yeah, so I had this game on like a decent amount just because Lamar is in our main league, my fantasy quarterback. So I was curious how he was doing. It was honestly a pretty underwhelming start to the game for them. They kind of started out pretty slow, which wasn't great for me as a Lamar fantasy owner. I was a little nervous there for a second, but I think, could have just been first quarter jitters or whatever. They cleaned it up. I was just expecting, I think, a bit more of a blowout against a team like the Jets, especially with Joe Flacco playing. But yeah, that second and third quarter, they put up 21 points total. So, like, obviously they showed who they can be. The one really deep touchdown to Bateman. I think hopefully we can see a little bit more of that this year.
There was a nice throw in the corner of the end zone to Duvernay as well.
Yep. So, yeah, it was honestly, it was a good game for Lamar.
We'll see if those young receivers, if they can step up, then the Ravens, like that's their one big question mark was who are they going to throw to, and they got Andrews and then Bateman and Duvernay. They had games. So
the other thing is still waiting on J.K. Dobbins to come back. So once he comes back, I think that'll be really big for the team as well. So
for sure.
I think overall just kind of a bit of a underwhelming game for the Ravens. I think they could have probably put up a bit more of a blowout against the Jets, but I'm not saying it was a bad game for them. It was overall a pretty good game.
So I just wanted to quickly mention, you touched on the Ravens. I liked it, so I'll take over and I'll touch on the Jets real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So I didn't know this. I watched the game, but I wasn't like keying in on the stats here.
No, he was throwing it a lot, if that's what you're about to say.
You were talking about Matt Ryan throwing it a lot?
Yeah, he was throwing it a lot.
59. Yeah. And he was 37 for 59. Like,
yeah, he was throwing a lot.
Shit. Yeah. Good shit, bro.
Yeah.
He was accurate. I mean, the one interception hurts, but
yeah. Well, they were down.
He didn't even play that bad, but they never got it. Like, it's like for all those yards he threw, it was just because their defense was stopping them early, and they were like gaining first downs but never getting it more than field goal range. Yeah. Anything left to say on that one, or we'll just
No, I was gonna say that was the only thing I was gonna touch on the Jets. I was just surprised with how much Flacco was throwing the ball. I thought it was gonna be a lot more Michael Carter and Brees, even if they weren't playing great and kind of losing the game. I thought they'd still kind of rely on those two more as being a bit more of a potential explosiveness for their offense. But yeah, no, I guess they like primetime Joe, man, against the Ravens team.
They have a scheme, bro, for a MILF hunter. And if you have a scheme for a MILF hunter and he gets hurt, you don't change the whole scheme for an elite quarterback.
So what I'm hearing is he's going to come back.
Yeah, he's going to come back and throw 69 times a game.
There you go. There it is. There you go.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to this next game, I'll take us to, I believe this is the last 1:00 window game. It was the Saints and the Falcons game.
I believe we touched on them all. Yeah.
Saints and Falcons. They're 1:00, right?
Yep. Saints Falcons were 1:00.
All right. So 27-26, nail biter, snake away victory. Yeah. And I believe, was there a missed kick at the end of the game? Did Young Ko? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Did he get a last second attempt, or was it a last second attempt the other way? No, it was Lutz the other way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless he missed one before. I know
a last second game winner by Lutz. That's right. Yeah. Well, not last second, last 20 seconds, but you get what I mean. I mean, overall, like, I remember like I was not really paying too close attention, but I was like on red zone at the time, and they were just like field goal, field goal, field goal for Atlanta. Like they just kept kicking it. I saw at one point that I on red zone that Michael Thomas scored his first touchdown, and then I started tuning in like on my laptop. I was watching more closely, and then I saw them score another touchdown with Michael Thomas, who
Yeah.
in the first half of the game he was not doing much, and then second half he really started to look like okay, he's like starting to get his legs under him. I mean, it's been so long since he played football, it kind of takes you, you know,
Yeah.
takes you 2 quarters to get into it. And
Yeah.
hey, he stepped it up, and then yeah, the last second field goal. Jameis did what he had to do. Marcus
Yeah.
Mariota, like pretty fitting that these two are division rivals and like that they're playing each other week one,
Yeah. It
new
was fun.
teams. It's just it's all fun, but they both played well, but Jameis got them into the end zone, got them, you
Yeah.
know, got them in position at the end to win the game. It just kind of felt like one of those games where whoever had the ball last was going to get the last field goal and win the game. So I don't really think this is like a huge victory because I'm not too sure how high I am on the Falcons at all. If anything, it kind of shows that the Saints might not be as good, but I don't want to say that because maybe the Falcons that maybe they just
I was gonna say, in my
played a
opinion,
really
actually,
good game.
I think what this showed is I think the Falcons might actually be able to steal some games this year. I think the one
Mm,
thing that I was going to point on is I thought Cordell Patterson was going to, I thought last season, like he's a good player, but I thought it could be a bit of an anomaly in terms of his stats. Like he just put up an absurd amount of like fantasy points last year. Like it was just, he had a
for
great
sure.
season. Um, but this, I believe they had total just over 200 rushing yards all purpose. Mariota put up like 70. Cordell Patterson had 120, I think. Like overall, it was a really good game. I think if they can keep kind of rushing the ball like that and running some option type plays and stuff like that, I think they could steal some games from some pretty good teams. Like the Saints aren't a shitty rushing defense. They're a defensively built kind of team. So honestly, I think if anything, that was a really impressive game by the Falcons. I think it kind of proved to me that they might be able to come out here and steal some games this year.
I kind of took it the other way, but I guess we'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. I guess you could totally take it that way. That the Saints,
Yep.
maybe their defense just isn't there this year, and their
Yep.
offense is going to have to steal them some games.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a 1 point victory there in a divisional game, which could, I mean, if the Falcons are a good team, that could have ramifications towards the end of the
Yep,
year. The fact that they
totally.
lost that by 1 point.
Yeah.
So the first 1 o'clock window game, or sorry, 4 o'clock window game that I'll get into, Kansas City versus Arizona.
Yeah.
The Patty Show. I
I
mean,
was gonna say Patty. That's like I'll be
without
honest.
without Tyreek.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched so during the 4 o'clock window. Obviously, I was a little more tuned into a singular game, but I went back and I watched a little bit of highlights of all the games, and yeah, it was just really Patty looked. He was 10 throws everywhere. Like it didn't matter who, anyone, everywhere. I just want to like he what 10 different receivers somewhere in that ballpark. Like
Wow.
it's like
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's
It
what I
looks
mean.
like 10.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball everywhere to everyone. It was just like this is I think if Casey is going to keep looking like this, they could end up winning the West, which a lot of people didn't have them doing. Like I think Patty just proved that he doesn't need Tyreek. Kelsey can just kind of be their number one target with Juju along its side. Like it's yeah, I think overall it was a Patty show. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right.
The Patty Show, and I don't think the Cardinals really look too great overall. Like,
That
I
was the other
mean,
thing I was going to say is the D
yeah,
Hop loss looks like it
D
could
Hop
hurt.
loss looked like it hurt, and
Yeah.
yeah, like it was the Patty Show, and honestly, like as much as I said, like Tyreek looked like he was helping out Tua and doing like wonders. I think the same could be said about them not having Tua, or sorry, Tyreek.
Mm.
It's just like now
Spread the
it's such
ball.
a just who's open, spread the ball. They have an O line that's solid now. They added the rookies last year that are a year older. They're just getting better. They're just getting stronger. They're getting used to NFL weight rooms and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
their offense looks like it's on the up, and also their defense looked good too, man. Like
Yeah.
they
I was
got
going to say the other thing is that the defense did do a pretty good job of
yeah,
shutting down Arizona.
they added Carlos Dunlap and Karloftis. Like their pass rush looked improved because that was an issue from before too. They never
Yeah.
really had like the premier pass rushers
Yeah.
besides Clark. So, but yeah, dude. I think overall the Cardinals just really didn't even look good on defense, which I thought they would. Like Buda Baker did not look too great. Like I'm not saying he played particularly bad, but it's just kind of like there was a couple plays where it's like this guy is like I know he's better than that. So like you said, week one sloppy play shit happens. So I'm not gonna dog nobody for
Yeah,
a poor performance in week one versus Patrick Mahomes. I'd be crazy to do that.
that's the other thing I was gonna say is to me, I was gonna say the one impression I got is maybe just Arizona's because this is the one question mark I really had about Arizona going into the season is how good is their defense, and I think it didn't look that good, but also just is it just that maybe Casey's offense is that good still?
And I think it is that. It's just
Yeah,
Casey's offense is that good, and week one sloppy play leads to, a couple more touchdowns and Patty Mahomes being able to make some magic.
yeah,
Going into the next one, we'll go to the Chargers here.
okay.
So Chargers win this game. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me mention that the Chiefs won 44-21. So it was just a pretty
Well,
handed blowout.
yeah,
Sometimes we might forget to mention the score if it's just a blowout, but I'll try to remember and keep us going back. But 24-19, the Chargers defeat the Raiders.
that game,
I'll start on the losing side.
Devontae
Devontae is that guy.
still doesn't matter.
He is
Doesn't matter.
that guy.
Number
And
one wide
Derek
receiver
Carr
in the league.
likes throwing to him. I mean, I thought that he would do well. I didn't think they were gonna run the Aaron Rodgers Devontae offense, but that's what they're doing. So
Yeah.
hey, 10 catches, 141 yards, and
Oh,
like
he had like I could be wrong, 15, 18 targets too, something like that. Like it was just let's throw the ball at Devontae.
throw the ball to Devontae. But like Derek Carr, he didn't look good.
Yeah,
3 interceptions, and they somehow had a chance to win that game in the end, but
yeah,
he didn't look that great. Josh Jacobs, 57 yards. I mean, a decent game, but forcing it to Devontae, I mean, you can't always force it. You got Hunter Renfro. How many yards did Hunter Renfro get? He had 3 catches, 21 yards. Like you gotta spread it. Just like we were saying with Patty, it's if you force it, then you never know. And I'm not saying because not all those throws were to Devontae that he got intercepted. I think maybe one was, but I'm just saying in general, like if they're kind of predicting what you're doing, then they're just manning up over here and zoning everywhere else.
Mm.
It's
The other
it's
thing I
kind
was
of
gonna say is, if anything, the one thing that really caught me off guard with the Raiders is honestly, I thought their defense played a pretty solid game all around. Like I think holding
yeah.
the Chargers to 24 points is gonna be a pretty tall task for every team this year.
Austin Eckler to 36 yards.
I was gonna say, and like on like a decent amount of carries, so like it's not just like he wasn't getting the ball, like they were trying to give it to him, but he just couldn't get anything going.
Yep.
Obviously, Hurton Keenan went out second quarter, I think, so that's
Yeah.
a bit of a hurt. That obviously that's gonna hurt their
Mm.
offense anytime. But Mike Williams didn't really, he was kind of non-existent the whole game. Had one or two
Weird.
catches, I think. Yeah, like it was
Mm-hmm.
just they did a pretty good job of shutting down kind of the main guys on the Chargers, and obviously it didn't really matter. Herbert's just
Yeah,
kind of that
and
guy.
and like you said, Herbert's just kind of that guy, and they shut
Yeah.
down the main guys. But DeAndre Carter had 3 catches for 64 yards. Everett
Tutty.
had 3 catches for 54 and a tutty.
Yeah.
McKitty had 3 catches for 24. Like he just found a way to get it done with the guys that he had.
Yeah.
And then just looking at the like Herbert played really well. Like I said, Eckler had kind of a rough game, which was kind of like it's indicative of how well the Raiders defense played. Like
Yeah.
they were able to shut him down, so their run defense might be really good. And I mean, you got Crosby, you got Chandler Jones, like you got the pass rushers. I'm not sure who their defensive tackles are, but kudos because they did have a really good game.
Yeah.
And I was pretty tuned into this because I have Eckler,
Yeah.
I have Herbert, and I have Mike Williams. So I got one of the three who had a good game, and yeah, I was okay about it. But Khalil Mack had 3 sacks. And
He
revenge
had
game
three.
first.
I thought he had
Revenge game.
two.
I'm
3.
looking at it. 3.
Hmm.
Micah Parsons said, he said, like, bro, 3 sacks, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty
yeah,
good.
revenge against the team that drafted him and traded him away in the first place. You like to see it.
You like to see it.
And yeah, Joey Bosa, a sack and a half. Derwin James, a sack. Like,
yeah,
a scary defense. A pick for Asante Samuel. A pick for two of their linebackers. Like, hey, their defense is scary too. Both defenses are scary, and both offenses have the potential to be super scary. They just got to kind of get it on track, like you said. Like, they threw it to Adams a lot, but 3 interceptions for the Raiders side, and on the Chargers side, Mike Williams didn't get the ball enough. So
yeah,
we'll see how they do that. Eckler didn't get going.
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be I think a bit of a different look for the Chargers in their next game in terms of kind of getting those guys going. I don't think it'll be like that for the rest of the season, but yeah, I think it says a lot about the Raiders defense of doing a good job to kind of shut down those guys.
Now, moving on to our next game, if you're good to.
Yeah, you want to go Giants Titans?
I'm saying Giants Titans. So,
yeah.
Full disclosure, this is probably the one game that I did not watch too closely. I was tuned into the Packers. I was tuned into Patrick going off, and I was tuned into the Chargers. So this was the one that I was sort of lacking on. I'm sorry, I don't have enough devices. Subscribe, like the video, share it with all your friends. I'll get 4 devices, and I will watch all the games at once. But like when I saw some red zone, Saquon looks like he's
amazing,
fully healthy all the way back. Danny Dimes did his job. Just kind of one of those, like, you know what? He had 1 pick, but he did his job. He got them in the position to win. Brian Daboll looks like he's in one game. He's changed kind of how they're going to run the offense and how they're just going to look to play games. Like, they're going to look to win games.
Ballsy man. He is a ballsy man.
They have lost that game so many times to the Cowboys, to everybody. They've lost like that last second like game where we tie it up and lose in overtime, or they tie it up and then someone else scores the other way. Like, no, fucking put all the pressure on them. I love the call. It was a great game overall, just play calling wise. But yeah, the Titans, Derrick Henry, 82 yards. He played good. Tannehill, 266, 2 touchdowns. He played all right. I mean, who the heck are their receivers? Phillips. Do you know that guy? Kyle Phillips. Have you ever heard of him? Well, he's 23 and he's a guy. Hilliard. He's a guy. I know Traylon Burks. He had a good game.
That's a guy. He had a decent game, actually. Yeah. Couple catches.
But yeah, man, the Titans are just kind of that team that it's just like, wow, how can such a good team be so undynamic?
Yeah, that I was gonna say that would be kind of the points I got from that game is like, one, just that the Titans were really underwhelming, and then 2, I just want to take a quick note to apologize to Giants fans, because I'm sure you guys probably shit your pants twice in that game. Once when you guys were going for the 2-point, and again when they were kicking that field goal.
Yeah, for sure, that field goal got close.
Yeah, I obviously, like I said, I was watching the Packers game. I saw some highlights from this game. Obviously, some Saquon highlights. He was looking really good. Saw a little bit of kind of here and there of how Tennessee was playing. It just kind of looked underwhelming to me. Derrick Henry didn't really pop off anything super major. Yeah, like you said, just over 80 yards, but kind of just a consistent game. But yeah, no, as soon as the Packers game kind of was done and over with whatever 2 minutes left, I threw on the Giants game because it looked really close and I was kind of interested. And yeah, that whatever kind of last minute was some fun football to watch. It was
definitely exciting. That was
the goodness, part call, that play call, like the 2-point conversion call was just so ballsy. I love it. I love to see stuff like that. I want to see more stuff. Like, in my personal opinion, if you're in that situation and you're a team, I think more teams should be going for that 2-point. Like, overtime, just with these current rules, it's a lot of the time games really are decided by a coin flip, which is just stupid.
But I also think you got to have a guy. Yeah. And Saquon was playing that well. And he could have been tackled there, but he shook it because he's a dog.
Saquon made that play happen.
And I mean, like if I'm a coach, I'm making that call. every time if my running back has
Of course.
160 something yards, like, and he's looking that good, and this is his revenge game kind of to the world, everyone
Yeah.
who wrote him off. Like, I love the call. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they won 21-20 in like you said, I tuned in that 2-point conversion,
Yeah.
and then watching that last drive was just I fucking thought
I thought it was
Randy
over.
might have got it. I thought he
Yeah.
kicked it, but nope, no good.
Also, can we talk about the fact that they took that flag right at the end, knocked
Mm-hmm.
them back a couple yards, make it a couple
Yep.
yards further. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, it's a tough game. Obviously, the Titans could have pulled it out even with that last field goal, but it was nice to see Giants win that one, especially with
Yep.
the 2-point conversion
Yeah.
call.
Just like we said, the way that they've lost that game so many times over the
Yeah,
last couple seasons or whatever,
they
it's
finally
just
managed to
like
pull one out.
they
Yeah.
finally managed to pull one of those types of tight games out. So moving on to the one, and I kind of took over a little bit at the start of that one because I just want to get your take and then I'll give my take. This is kind of the one. So let me know whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
All
I've
right.
been ready.
The Minnesota Vikings defeat the Green Bay Packers 23-7. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Okay. So, first thought, one, Jordan Love played really well. Not sure if you saw that. Came
I
in,
did.
threw a couple passes at the end.
I
So
did.
that's my first thought. My second thought is the rest of the team did not. um, it was just overall like it's sloppy. Like I think obviously I'm not sure if any of the viewers or have you seen it, but Aaron Rodgers put it perfectly on Pat McAfee today on Aaron Rodgers USA. It was just a lot of mental mistakes. Like it's just like even like with the drop ball by Christian Watson, like that's a play that you hate to make, but you drop balls. Like you're gonna drop balls all the time. Drop balls happen. It's the mental mistakes where you're running routes wrong. Like you're like that's the stuff that just it can't fly. Like you can't be doing that shit. Like you can't be missing tackles. Like that's the stuff that like you gotta know where your spots are. You
The
gotta get to
little
your
things,
spots.
right?
Yeah, the little things. And we weren't doing those properly. We weren't prepared. So yeah, I think that was kind of the biggest thing that I noticed is it's just like it was, and obviously the one thing I want to point out, Minnesota looked really good, like the really good, like I would say the two main things that I noticed all game, like even in terms of obviously Justin Jefferson potentially being the number one wide receiver in the league at this point, other than Devontae Adams, in my opinion, is that like their defense was just it was a whole lot of pass rush that was getting pressure. They only had I think 3 sacks, so it wasn't super overwhelming in terms of sacks, but they were getting pressure on a lot of plays, and their defense is shutting it down in the back half. So I like kudos to them. Like they played a really good team or game, especially defensively and offensively. They looked really good, like in that first half. Um, so yeah, I think Vikings played a really good game, and the Packers just like we gotta shut it down. I think one thing that I want to point out that the Packers are doing that I think we really need to stop is I think Jair only got Justin Jefferson one-on-one man coverage twice, and once he let up a pass, and the other time was the offensive pass interference. So like I don't know why Jair isn't running one-on-one with those types of guys. Like that's something that I think, if anything was proved in this past game, we need to do. And he even said himself in an interview is something that he wants to be doing, and it's not his call that we're not. Um, Shit, he doesn't want to be a one-sided field guy. He doesn't want to be only playing outside. He doesn't care if it's slot. He wants the best guy on their team, and I think we got to give it to him. And I think he's proved in the past that we should. And I think this game proved that Justin Jefferson's going to like guys like Rasul Douglas and Eric Stokes. Not that they're not good, but it's just we need someone who's a number 1, 2, or 3 cornerback to cover a number 1, 2, or 3 wide receiver and have a chance consistently. So I think that's something that we got to do. But yeah, just overall sloppy play. I want to see more pass rush, especially. Like I didn't think the Vikings offensive line was going to look that good against our pass rush. So that's something that I want to see a big jump forward in. And then just yeah, kind of just little mental mistakes, running routes properly, that type of stuff. Obviously, offensively, we had a couple big injuries, Bakhtiari, Jenkins, like Lazard, but like at the end of the day, that shouldn't change that much. Like that's a game we should win even without those 3 guys, in my opinion. So we just got to play our game properly, and I think that's a game we'll win later on in the season. Just got to clean it up.
I think the Packers brought their worst game and the Vikings brought their best game.
Yeah, yeah,
Kirk played really well. Like Justin Jefferson's a freak, but like you said, like if you're not going to put your best corner on him, then you're asking to get cooked. Their defense looked freaking spectacular.
Yeah,
Like
amazing. Really
4 or
good.
5 sacks, like, and
Yeah.
obviously that's a huge question with the Packers too, is what's going to happen with the O-line, right?
Yeah.
But the Vikings O-line looked really good.
Yep.
Vikings D-line looked really good. Vikings secondary looked really good. Their wide receivers looked really good.
Yep.
Dalvin Cook looked really good.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. It was like I said, I think the Vikings brought their best game, and the Packers O-line's hurt, beat up, young guys who haven't gotten real reps before, etc. You got wide receivers who are super young, guys who are hurt like Lazard, and guys who haven't taken reps before. Like, it's just all kind of, it all kind of equated for a Vikings really good game and a Packers maybe off game. But the Packers, you definitely can't just say like, oh yeah, like it's week 1, blah blah blah. Like, no, there's definitely things that the Packers need to fix. One of them is getting healthy, but they also need to at some point get these young receivers like clicking on the same page as Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's a necessary thing that needs to happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think definitely that would be the main thing, is
And
just kind of cleaning up that offense. Like, it's just, it can't be playing sloppy, especially with such young guys. Like, you got to go out there and you got to earn your spot by running every single route properly.
for sure. Are we good with that?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to move on.
All right, so we want to go to Monday night or oh yeah, Sunday night.
I think there's one quick game to do in between those two.
Sunday night, eh? Oh fuck. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win 19-3 against some team. So the Dallas Cowboys lose 3-19, and they lose their starting quarterback. Maybe that's just a good place to start. So at the end of this game, Dak goes out with an injury.
Only 4 weeks, so it's fine.
So Jerry Jones, he's saying it's only 4 weeks. He no IR. We're just leaving the IR spot open. I don't know, Jerry. You I don't know, Jerry. But just kind of looking at like the game overall, just the Cowboys on their first drive, they drive down, they have some momentum. Like, they hit a pass, I think, to Brown and to CD. Zeke is running hard, kick a field goal. Defense gives up a couple throws to Godwin and I believe Julio, and then they kick a field goal because we clamp up in the red zone. And then after that, the offense went to fucking shit. We could not fucking do anything on offense. Our wide receivers are kind of our biggest question mark right now. Can any of these guys create separation? Because they were playing us like they knew we were going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
They know we're going to throw the ball because apparently we're down 12-3 at halftime. And after, our defense has played amazing the whole first half, holding them to field goals. And Kellen Moore says, you know what? We're going to pass.
Yeah.
We're going to put this young O-line that has Connor McGovern hurt. We're going to put them in pass protection the rest of the game. And guess what? They got beat up by Shaquille Barrett and Hakeem Hicks and Vita Vea. Like, they just got 8 alive. So I don't know what he expected. It was a recipe for disaster going into that second half. And from there, it just went from bad to worse with all the penalties that Terrence Steele ended up taking. He took 4 or 5 penalties, I believe. And then, Dak gets hurt at the end. But like I said, overall, the Cowboys defense, I felt like played pretty well. You held Tom Brady to 19 points. Like, if you hold any team to under 20, you should be able to win in this league. But I think even regardless of if Dak was hurt or not, this offense, clearly at the state that it's in, is not good enough. Like, he couldn't score more than 3 points when he was healthy. So I don't want people making excuses for our offense. Like, oh, well, Dak isn't here. It's okay. Dak isn't here. No. Like, this, we gave away Amari Cooper. I know it's money. We gave away Lelio Collins. I know it's money. But you got to do something to replace them. You can't just be like Noah Brown's here and we found this guy, Dennis Houston. Yeah, you're picking up pennies. Like I like Dennis Houston. I'm not, but I'm just saying like you have like 30 million in cap space right now, and you're trying to sell us on undrafted free agents that you paid nothing for.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. But looking at the Bucks just quickly, the Leonard Fournette ran all over our defense, but he honestly wasn't running that hard early on, and then as the game went on and we went 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, you could see it wearing on our defense. I don't even blame our defense for that.
No.
Trayvon played pretty well in the secondary, but Mike, they had their shots. I think Tom had 200 yards and 1 touchdown. Mike Evans scored the touchdown on Trayvon Diggs. It was a beautiful catch.
Oh, it was a great catch. It was a beautiful touchdown.
But overall, I feel like the Bucks, their defense played spectacular. Like they knew we were going to throw it. Winfield
Dak missed some throws. Dak missed some throws. I will admit that though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dak missed some throws. Carlton Davis was clamping up on CD. Winfield was all over the place. David and White are animals. I think the Bucks played a really good game on defense. On offense, they honestly would probably say themselves they should have played better, but the game never fell in doubt. So Cowboys offense held them back in this game, and it looks like it's going to be very bad, especially for 4 weeks with Cooper Rush. But that's my rant. I'll let you kind of give your thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think you touched on obviously most points in the game. I think maybe you're a little hard on the Cowboys, but of course you're gonna be. I think overall the main point that I was gonna point out from the Cowboys is I was really unimpressed by Dak. I thought Dak just was gonna play a better game overall. I thought Dak was gonna come out and just kind of I thought he was going to kind of force this kind of more into a game versus the Bucks, and that didn't happen. I thought even without Amari or Gallup, I thought kind of CD. He was like, you guys still have some guys, Dalton Schultz. Tony P is a really good receiving running back out of the backfield. Like I thought he was still going to put up a decent game and have some decent numbers and kind of turn this into a bit of a dogfight with Tom, and that just never kind of seemed to happen. He never really picked it up like that. Like you said, it was just kind of a slow game all around for you guys offensively. Weren't running the ball enough.
I feel like when we abandoned the run, then it's like it put Dak in an even worse position.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think just overall, just kind of a piss poor game for your guys' offense. Like even game, like just calling wise, like other than kind of Zeke.
Kellen Moore's play calling was abysmal.
Zeke was really.
I don't know if I touched on it, but thank you for touching on it.
Yeah, no, terrible. Like other than Zeke was kind of the one spot of your offense that kind of looked decent throughout that entire thing. So. Yeah, I would say just overall Cowboys, just a totally underwhelming game. Defense, I thought actually, you're right. I think holding to Tom Brady and that offense to 19 points is wildly impressive. I think that's going to be tough to do this season for a lot of teams. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think your defense looked really good, and I think that was going to be my point. Is whatever. Hopefully, if it is actually 4 weeks and Dak's only out 4 weeks, he'll be back in 4 weeks, and then your team should be good again if they can kind of get some things going and start leaning on Tony P and Zeke more, especially with the way Zeke was playing. I wasn't expecting Zeke to come out and average 5.4 rushes per carry, so that was really impressive to me. But yeah, I would say overall kind of just the defense was good. I think you guys could steal some games even in the next 4 just from the defense alone if Cooper Rush can play some decent football. So I think that's a really good shining spot. And then Bucks look good. I think obviously defense played really well, even if Dak was missing some throws and the play calling was shit. Like I think their defense shut it down. I think overall just a good game for their team. I think you're right. Offensively, they probably wish they could have done a little bit more, but Cowboys do have a really good defense. I don't think that'll be how their offense is playing continuously against some lesser defenses. So yeah, I think Bucks look good. They kind of showed what they can be, especially against a better team. Like winning 19-3 against the Cowboys is going to be kind of tough for I think any team this year, even when the Cowboys are healthy. So yeah, I think Bucks look good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of quickly say this before we wrap up the Cowboys and Bucks game. Just because I'm a Cowboys fan, I'll give every week I'll give my Cowboys the star of the game for offense and defense. So kind of like you said, if there was any bright spot on offense, like if I have to give a star to somebody, I'm giving it to Zeke. He ran the ball hard. He looks like he's, last year the first 6 weeks he ran pretty good, and then he injured his PCL and he played through it, and he looked like he's back to being healthy again. So if he's running hard, then it could be a big season for Zeke. And on defense, it's got to be Micah. He's the guy. I say it every time I feel like I do one of these podcasts. You're going to hear me say it. Micah is that guy. Those 2 sacks were disgusting, and it's just all game. You literally see Tom say 11 right, 11 left, 11 Mike, and he's always concerned about throwing it away or making sure that they know to pick him up. And I don't know if you saw Fournette absolutely blow up Micah. It's like all over like Twitter and stuff. People
actually, I don't know what I saw. I saw the clip
like so Micah goes and engages in a block with like the left tackle, and then like Fournette like comes out of nowhere and like gang bang blocks him. Like, so it was kind of like a cheap shot, but it's like
free block. Yeah.
It's whatever. It's just kind of like, it was funny because of course they blow it out of proportion. But Micah played amazing, bro. So
yeah, but that's gonna be the one clip they show.
All right, so you want to move on to the final game?
Yeah, I mean the Geno show.
The Geno show. So I watched the Geno show, and
I've seen some highlights, but that's it. I didn't watch the full game last night.
So like Geno Smith's waited 8 years for this opening day week 1 start, and he did not let it slip. He was so accurate. They had a good running attack, and honestly, it just felt like Geno in the first half. I think Troy Aikman said it, because I know it's Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, who are the new Monday Night Football commentators. Troy Aikman said, if Geno Smith just keeps playing like this, like, he's going to put them in a position to win. Like, just lean on your running attack and make your throws, man. And that's exactly what he did. And in the end, it was just such an underwhelming performance by the Broncos offense. And the Seahawks defense has 3, I believe they said 3 rookies in the secondary, like 1 safety and 2 corners. They played like studs.
Yeah.
Against Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy. Like, I know Jerry Jeudy beat him for a deep one, and Cortland has his plays, but dude, I'm telling you, like, that the Seahawks, if Geno's gonna play where he's really accurate, really safe, they're not going to only win 3 games this year, 2 games this year. They'll probably win 4 or 5, like 6 maybe, like, just off their defense looks like it plays well. And I don't know if you saw you saw the Geno interview, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It was so fire. What did he say?
He's got some dog in him. He said they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Too bad I didn't write back. Something like that. It's
and then I don't know if you saw Shelby Harris as well. He's like one of the defensive tackles that the Broncos traded away. In the trade
Russ,
with Russ. And he was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, how you like that? We hold the Broncos to 16 points at home. Like something like that. Like, he was losing.
I love it. So no, I was gonna say, you gotta love that game.
But so overall, I just think that Geno Smith just did exactly what he had to do. The offense looked good. They had they had DK. I can't remember who the tight end is. I think it's Parkinson or something like that. Is it Disley? I think I'm thinking of the other one then. I think it's Colby Parkinson. Can we look this up real quick?
Parkinson. Parkinson.
Parkinson.
Yeah.
He had a couple big catches, I believe, and Disley as well, and Metcalf and Lockett. Like, he just spread the ball out, but it just looked like their defense really stepped up. And honestly, like, I don't think the Broncos defense played bad. It was just the Seahawks. They scored 17 points. They won 17-16. It's like, that's just 2 defensive teams battling it out. It's just more so surprising that the Broncos defense wasn't as good.
I was going to say, I think Geno Smith coming out against any team and going, I think he was 16-7 for like 130 and a touchdown or something in the first half.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something crazy like that. Maybe 2 touchdowns in the first half. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like, just mind-blowing numbers. Like, for any quarterback, that's incredible. And for a guy like Geno to come in after, you're right, so many years out, like, it's just Like you love to see it. Like you love to see a guy like
Oh
that
yeah,
have a
those
game
are the
like that.
stories. Those are the
Yeah,
stories, man.
especially with guys like Fant, guys like Shelby Harris on that team right after the trade, Russ coming in and getting his old team first week and losing. Like it's just overall, it's for the Seahawks fans. That's gotta feel so good. And
It
then
gives you something to cheer for.
yeah, exactly. And then I was gonna say my other point is just because I feel like you touched a lot on how good the Seahawks were. The Broncos just losing to the Seahawks. Like this is a team that people thought was far and away the worst team in the league.
You know how I said the biggest upset was maybe the Niners versus the Bears. It's
Yeah,
actually probably this one.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Like because like the Broncos have Russell Wilson. Like we're talking about the Niners with Trey Lance. Like are
the
we
Trey.
really that
Yeah,
surprised?
yeah. No, you're right. I would agree with you. I think kind of
Mhm.
actually looking back, this probably is. This one was a bit of a closer game too in the end, like the 17-16.
Mhm.
um, versus the two-score Bears Niner game. But yeah, I would agree with you. This is probably still a bigger upset. Like I think no one saw Russ coming into this game and losing to the Seahawks, especially with the roster
Nobody
they
saw the
have right now.
Seahawks winning it. It wasn't even
No,
like people were looking at the Broncos coming in to lose. No one thought the Seahawks would win.
no. Like it's just honestly in a way it's shocking. Like and obviously it's week one, like Russ new team, like it's
Mhm.
whatever growing pains. But I was gonna say the other thing that I wanted to touch on too is it wasn't like Gino was, like and obviously they are leaving on the rough run game and he's Geno Smith. It's a lot of dump and play, like kind of dump offs, but it's not like he was overusing Metcalf and Lockett. Like he was, unless I'm mistaken, he was spreading out the ball a lot. Like he was getting it to a lot of different guys from what I saw. So like that's exactly what I think they need to do. Like I think that's how they're gonna pull out some games like this. Like I think if they keep playing games like this offensively and defensively, like and they've proven they can beat some teams.
I agree, man.
It'll be hard to
Like
keep it up, and it will be hard
yeah,
to keep it up.
it'll be hard to keep it up, but if Gino can do it, like they have the defense that it
Hmm?
seems like they have a young defense that can do it. But
Yeah.
so man, I think that's it for our week one recap. Do you have any general thoughts like going into next week?
Christian Watson's got to learn how to catch a ball.
There you go. I like it. That's a good note to leave it on.
Have you
I
my one?
my one note is just let's all just quick prayers up for Dak. We're all thinking about you but yeah, so that's episode 1 for the Cheeseboys NFL podcast.